drag them to a particular position? How can you give them that ownership over something? So suddenly the summer season went off and our sales dropped down. And I was like, okay, now what? Where's the cash coming in? And then we made it an online brand and now it's doing wonderfully well. But at that time, the retail concept had to be studied. We had to understand that we cannot sit in a shop, do that thing, so 400 rupees wala kaam, selling every shirt and then packing everything, covering it, stuff like that. And it didn't excite me somehow. The production phase was very nice, when you're doing the designing part, you're doing the execution. But when it came to like selling the product, it was painful because you could not relate to that product within, I know how I can go and do a marketing stunt for this shirt. It didn't happen. So I got rejected over 3-4 months in the winter season, and we were sitting I was sitting with my mom, and she got me these Gopika Pranthas. We were like eating. I said, you know what, Mom, it's been enough. Last 8 years I've been taking dance classes under the brand name of Just Dishan's Dance Workshops. Because whenever I had a place where anybody could come and do it, I used to go to corporates, do workshops for them, come back, go to colleges, universities and stuff like that. But it was not one position that I could say, you want to contact me, come back. So she says, why don't you name your thing? Why don't you give structure to your thing? I just said it randomly. And she said, get an Oxford dictionary. And she said, okay, give me one word that you would like dance to be, And I said, I want to go into the lifestyle of people. I want to make it a home for them. So she just started finding new names for home. And then this word came in Dacha. And she said, what you do is Google it out and just see what it means. And it said a very nice thing. It says, Dacha is a Russian name for a second home, built just for recreation.
Absolutely. Just read what you Rahul.
It was wonderful to hear you, and you wanted to do something every 2 years, become something every alternate year. You said you have your system online, selling your product. Does one have to pay online initially, or is it something like Jabong.com where your product is delivered and you pay when it's delivered to you?
Well, it's a PayPal thing. You go, you pay, we get it in our account, and you get the product within 20 days. In India, it's free, but if it's out of India, then you pay the extra charges, and we do it through PayPal. Yeah.
How do you maintain your delivery schedules?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
How do you maintain your delivery schedules? Delivery
schedules. Well, delivery schedules are all managed. We have an operation team now working for us. So there are 3 people. Whatever orders we get online are directed to our email addresses. We get the notification. Within 24 hours, we process it. We send it to the courier guy. The dispatch happens. And if it's out of stock, it's already there on the website. That we don't have the product. So there's no hitch out there when it comes to delivery. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Over to you, Rahul.
Do we have any other ladies in the audience from?
To the woman entrepreneurship. Would you like to share your?
My husband, Sahil Kapoor, and I started my venture like 2 years back. Right now I'm on a break as I'm going to be a mom soon.
Congratulations.
So thank you. Rather than taking as a full-time break, I'm doing it as a part-time thing because once you start working, you cannot sit at home. So it's just that no matter what phase a woman goes through, you have to be strong. You have to have a will to move on the right path. That's all.
Sahil, would you like to comment, add on to that?
Oh, well, I must say about my wife, like she's working from 2 years and she worked really hard on it. And since the day she has started, now she is doing really good work nowadays. Even though she is not working full time, but still she is doing very good work. And about me, like I'm into immigration, I'm doing this work from last 7 to 8 years. And I have like 4 to 5 offices all over India. And I started this work 7 years back. Now I'm doing good enough business and she's helping me around with that as well. So I must say she's Well, that's all what I can say. Thank you.
I haven't paid him for that.
Well, thank you.
So if you have a
Good evening, everyone. I'm Gulli. My question is to every woman entrepreneur over here. That during client handling or when we deal with different set of people, do we ever face any kind of gender bias? And how difficult is it for us to deal being a woman or being a man? That is my question.
So I think that's a broader question, like how socially independent is a woman today, as the topic goes. So that's a good question.
I would say that I'm not the right person to answer this question because the industry that we are operating in and the setup that we are working in, in an urban setup, we are dealing in the education industry, and that has been primarily, dominated by females. So when we do deal with the client, this is one area where they are really comfortable. They expect that, okay, there's somebody who's come for training, there's somebody who's come for teaching, so yes, it's a lady. And, so this kind of a question, this kind of a bias, I have never come across till date. Maybe in the future or somewhere, but of course, I'm not the right person to be answering this question because this industry is really different. But maybe...
We have another lady in the audience, I think she would like to answer this question.
No, it's not that. Whatever she was saying, Isha. When it comes to me, when I go for a tie-up, when I go for any meeting with a male person, it is very easy for me to get things done. Because I don't know, as in, people do listen to you. People do, whatever you have in your hand, people do recognize it, and people do revert back. So in my industry, I am heading an organization called International School of Media. I'm the director of the organization, and I have an NGO called Hans Foundation. So in my industry, the industry is pretty glamorous. There's a lot of media people coming in, there's a lot of actors and actresses coming in. And the woman as an entrepreneur or woman as a person who would want to talk to people is looked pretty well. And there's no dominance from the male thing that we have to tolerate or anything like that. It has been very easy for me to work in the industry where there's so many men, where the directors of the media, publication companies and the other channels and everybody is male. But when it comes to me being woman entrepreneur or having a place in the media and film industry, it has been very easy.
Thank you. Pass the mic.
Volunteer for an NGO called Developing Indigenous Resources. This set up about 7 years ago by the American gentleman. We work in a slum which we have there. And the main focus is on health, improving health of the people in Asli. But by and by we started 2 other things, and now the thrust is on education of children in the slum and income generation of women. So my friend here told me about this and it just came in. I didn't really give it any thought. But having heard what you guys have to say about your businesses, the model in which I work, as you know, NGOs work, we work on donations. And Dr. Frederick Shaw, the person who started this NGO, was 82 years old. And he goes back to the US twice a year asking for funds and donations. And I'm volunteering with them for the last year and a half, and that's what I'm focusing on. It's such a struggle to keep an NGO going. And what I am today, I say this not with pride, but with frustration. It's just like a glorified beggar, I say, oh, I'm fundraising, but what am I doing? I'm just begging all the time. So Frederick's away to the US for the last 3 months. In these 3 months, I had to run the NGO by myself. It's been so difficult that you lose sleep over how you're going to pay salaries for the month, how you pay the rents. So I was like thinking about this, that the income generation thing that we do for women, we've taught them stitching. They make paper bags, they make bags with clothes like this, the one that I carry. They're wine bags, they're iPad bags. We have also started making salwars. It's of course on a very small level. The 16 women who are associated with our program as of now. But because of the contacts that we guys have, I recently met a GM of a 5-star hotel in the city who said, we can start buying from you, but we don't have the capacity. And I thought setting up a business is good. We don't want to make profits. Frederick doesn't take a salary, I don't take a salary. But if we make money, and we put that money into our health program, because that's what we wish to do. We put our money into the education for educating these kids in the West. So we need to have a business program. So all of you here, because you're into business, you know so much about business. If any one of you wishes to share something with me after this, like not in this meeting, please contact me after this meeting. We can exchange phone numbers, we can exchange mails. I'm looking for a business model for an NGO, so that an NGO should stop begging. It's not very nice. It's pretty humiliating that you're all the time asking people. So I want to have a business model and utilize the profits for the work that we're doing. Thank you very much.
We are leaving with the toy library. Wanted to ask something.
Yeah, no,
But please go ahead.
She was talking about the gender bias. So I can give you some interesting examples which I personally experienced. Like we, as I told you, we run toy libraries throughout the country. One such library is run by me here in Mohali itself. And day in and day out I find, for instance, a girl comes, she wants a bike. No, beta, you don't have to take this. A boy comes, he picks up the Dora Kitchen. No, it's not meant for you. These are the gender distinctions that has gone into our blood. As if a boy cannot play with a doll and the girl will not play with guns.
Right.
So this is the distinction which we have to erase.
Actually, I asked this question because after my father passed away, my mom took over the courier service business the very next day. The very next day, she was the owner of that business and she was handling all the things. So we had delivery boys with us, 7 to 8 delivery boys. So it was quite difficult, not with the clients, but with the labor that we were dealing with. So being a woman, it was very difficult for her. She carried on the business for 2 years, but eventually we had to close it down, not because we were lack of work or projects, but because the delivery boys were not able to cope up with how they used to report to my dad. So that is why I asked this question.
Even in this business also, first is being the lady, woman, and secondly, being of this age. There is always an inhibition while I'm speaking to people who ask for the franchisee. When I talk, there's a difference. When there is a male voice,
Yes.
there's a difference.
Yes. That is my question actually.
No, it happens. Like I have a very close friend who's an architect. So she says, whenever we design a building and all the contractors do the work. No? So she always says that I being a young girl, they always try to, enforce their things. I mean, it's not very easy for them to take that authority of a lady.
Yes.
So I think for that kind of when you're working with those kind of people, I do think that they are not very comfortable with a woman being a boss and, complying with whatever they say.
Somewhere there is a mindset still over there that we need to change. We all are lucky over here. We say our families support us. But there are many women entrepreneurs which face many problems dealing with the clients or the people out there, and being alone is a big problem for them. So that is why I just asked this question, that how difficult is it for them?
No, good, interesting question. I think we're getting more insight into that. We'll wind up the session. We have one last question. आरती जी आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछता है और नीलम जी आपके लिए भी ये है, आगे क्या सोचते हैं आप, आगे क्या करना चाहते हैं?
आगे सर क्या करना, बस काम से काम जुड़ा रहे, यही और होता है, सोचने की भी हमारे काम ना बिखरे, काम से काम जुड़े रहे कि हमारे हाथ में कुछ आमदनी आते जाते हैं।
तो क्या आरती से आरती प्रोडक्शन नहीं बनाना चाहेंगे? आरती क्राफ्ट शॉप, अपनी दुकान?
क्यों नहीं सर, तो सब कुछ होता है कि हम आगे कुछ और बड़े बने, कुछ और बड़े बने।
हम सब की शुभकामनाएं आपके साथ हैं और हम चाहते हैं
Very perception, I think India's government funding चल रहा है, ये लोग यूज नहीं करते हैं, अपने लिए यूज करते हैं. So what we did, working with this Choti Si Asha, which is an NGO in Karuna Southern, they also make these laptop balls, bags and stuff like that with jute and everything. We made this product called Karma Hati, which is a jute product just to empower you, saying that you are carrying an issue with you, wearing that Hati. Now, the idea that I really wanted to float in with all NGOs here is involve youths with you. Now, how you do that is through various programs. If I have time, you can take down my number. I have really studied on how you can actually take down in the educational programs such activities make their pocket money and help you guys too. Because the kind of social circle they have, I think none of us can actually go out and reach out through advertising and anything. Facebook, it's just a miracle, I think. And my entire business on Facebook today. So from growing to 16 people to 85 people per month, everything is through Facebook. I think NGOs should get more social media friendly. Get more of youth inside, and I think it's a classic way of going about it, and a business model will form it very well.
Thank you for your valuable suggestion. Thank you. We'll give you more time to interact one-on-one, and that's what we are here for. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Ishaq and Aarti ji. Shukriya. Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you.